Good morning. It's day 29 of December. I'm working on the 9th day of Christmas for my 12 Days of Christmas Carol Advent Calendar Challenge. I'm getting really good at saying that now. I started reading Sleepwalker's Guide to Dancing last night. I've only got through the prologue so far, and I can already tell I'm liking Mira Jacob's writing style. I like it a lot. So I think that this won't take as long as I was afraid it would take. You know, it's a giant book, and I was really scared of it last night. And I really don't know enough yet to tell you more about this book. So once I've read a little further, I will give you a better synopsis of this. But I'm excited. Today is Tuesday. I'm going to be reading. I have to work on a video, and I have a friend that I'm going to be seeing, which is really wonderful because I haven't seen her in a while, and we're going to be exchanging Christmas presents, and I want to show you what I got her because it's bookish. So my friend Shamania is really nerdy in the best way possible. She is a super physicsy, sciencey nerd. And that's one thing that we've really been able to bond really well over, our love of science. So I got her 2 science books, and I thought these were really fun. The first one is called Imagined Life, and this is by James Trefill and Michael Summers. This is a book that discusses what we could find out there in the outer reaches of space. And I think that what they come up with in this book is based off of real scientific information. So they've taken information that they understand about science, and then they've become speculative and tried to think of what could be out there. So I know Shamania would be into this. I think it sounds like a really cool book, so maybe I'll have to borrow it after she's done. So the next one I got was sort of like a combination between things she loves and things I love. So she is obsessed with physics. She absolutely loves physics. It's not my favorite subject. I love biology. I'm a biologist. So I got her this one. It's called The Equations of Life, How Physics Shapes Evolution by Charles S. Cockle. This basically talks about how physics dictates biology and evolution. It's perfect because it combines our favorite subjects into one book and probably makes for a beautiful combination, just like our friendship. That was so cheesy. Okay, so I will be giving Shamania these. I'm sure she will. I hope she'll enjoy them. And I'm probably gonna have to borrow them from her because they both sound really interesting to me. Okay, so one of the cutest things just happened. See that little lady over there? She decided she wanted to do reading sprints with me today. So we're gonna do some reading sprints. What are you reading?
The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama.
So she's reading Art of Happiness because she's also part of the nonfiction book club that I run. So, woohoo! Amina, the daughter, she's on the phone with her mother, Kamala. Her mom's trying to, in a roundabout way, let her know that there's something wrong with her father and she needs to come home. Her father's still practicing. He's a brain surgeon, but he is starting to talk to someone, his mother actually, and a couple other family members, deceased family members, in the evening while he should be sleeping. And so this is a hard thing for Amina because summer during wedding season is her busiest time as a photographer, but she realizes that this is actually serious and she needs to go back home. And then the first chapter actually starts with a flashback to 1979 when the family all went back to India to visit Thomas's mother and his brother Sunil. When you first start hearing Kamala talk, you're like, man, she's kind of annoying and unpleasant. But then you meet Amachi. This woman is so incredibly negative. She doesn't have anything nice to say about anybody. She's constantly putting every single person down and making everybody feel really guilty. So this is the grandmother. There's not one person that she has anything positive. Oh wait, no, she said that the women who work on Singapore Airlines have nice skin. So she said something positive. We're in the introduction phase where Thomas and his family have arrived and they're all giving out gifts. Sunil is a dentist and the mother basically thinks he's worthless because he wasn't a real doctor. There's a lot of resentment and anger between the grandmother, her son Thomas, and his brother Sunil, and then the different family members. You just can see these children having to watch their parents go through all this anger and trying to understand where it's coming from. Amina specifically, because we're really looking through everything through Amina's eyes. I really like the writing style of this so far. I'm liking the dialogue. It feels very realistic. And I can't wait to find out more about this family and what causes Thomas to leave India and not talk to his mom anymore. Hello, good evening. I'm so excited because I just hit 100 subscribers. Super, super exciting. And thank you to everyone who has been following my channel and is enjoying talking books with me because I've made some amazing friends so far here on BookTube. And I'm really excited to have a community to be able to discuss books with. And the community's just getting larger. So I'm loving this. This is fantastic. And thank you. Again, thank you. Hey, it's December 30th and it's about almost 7 p.m. So I'm a bit late in the day for an update. But yesterday, even though it was a wonderful day, I didn't end up reading anything. I spent a good portion of the day catching up with a friend, and it was so wonderful, but I didn't get anything read, which was fine. I'm about page 100 at this point. I'm really enjoying A Sleepwalker's Guide to Dancing. I like the way that Mira Jacob is setting up her characters. I'm really enjoying the characters. They're definitely not all likable, in the sense that they have issues. I found out why the father leaves India and stops talking to his mother completely. And really, it was because of her meanness, how awful she was, and he just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take her behavior. Then you flash forward to the point where we are seeing Amina and hearing about her life. She lives in Seattle, which is pretty awesome because, as I was saying for Maid, it's fun to read books that are set in a setting that is close to you and that you can recognize. You're kind of finding out about her career as a photographer. She was a photojournalist. She ended up taking a picture of this guy who was committing suicide, and it made her go through a loop. Her brother Akil died like 9 years prior. He died when he was like 18, and the photograph that she took has just brought up all these feelings and this pain from Akil. So after that, she kind of loses her job because I think she kind of stops working, and then she becomes a wedding photographer. So you're finding out about her work as a wedding photographer, and then you're kind of going back a little further and finding out about this experience with this photograph. Good morning! It is New Year's Eve, and I have been watching YouTube videos all morning, catching up on my booktuber videos, so I haven't done that much. I'm through page 200, and I'm really enjoying this. There are definitely some really horrible things that have happened, and at this point, her brother has some sort of sleeping disorder, and we're kind of figuring out how that plays out. One thing I can say is, don't piss off your children, because things might happen. There's some pretty crazy things happening in this story. It's not like this huge action-packed book, but the tragedies that have happened in this family are pretty extreme. This evening, we're going to go to my aunt's house for a little while to play some games, drink some champagne. I don't think we'll last through midnight because they go to bed really early, and we're just kind of feeling lazy. If you did anything fun, let me know in the comment section down below, because then I'll just live vicariously through you. Alright, so this is my New Year's look.
Let me see.
We're playing board games and putting on face masks this evening.
Hi, Aunt Nancy.
No, you are Aunt Nancy. Now I'm home and just feel like reading. So I'm on page 290. And one thing I wanted to say that I don't think I mentioned at all is that the photography that Amina does often tends to be of the uglier parts of life, which she thinks are really beautiful. At the wedding, she takes pictures of the bridesmaids throwing up in the bathroom, or illicit affairs that are happening behind the scenes, or things like that. That is where her real art is. Like, she takes pictures of these real awkward, awful moments, but those are the real moments. Really am enjoying how she looks at things, but then also seeing what she's dealing with her family. Really, it's a book that's all about family dynamics. So there were definitely parts in the beginning that were a little slower, and then I hit probably around page 225 to 250 or something like that, and it's gotten to a point where I'm having a really hard time putting it down. So that's pretty cool because it is a big book. Happy New Year! It is January 1st, 2021, and I am really excited. I'm really excited, actually. I am ready for this new year. Last year was crap, let's get rid of it. So let's just move on sure, we learned things from last year. So I always can learn things from bad experiences, but I'm ready to kind of just move forward. I have some great goals for 2020, I think. I don't really have any resolutions. Mostly I just want to work on self-care. That's always important, taking care of ourselves. For me, both physically and emotionally, that's always an important place to start. And then I really want to work on living in the moment. I'm a planner, and I do struggle with always looking ahead and trying to figure out what's next. And when you do that, you kind of miss the moment. And I had a really good year this year. I think that it really forced me, 2020 kind of forced you to live in the moment because we really didn't have anything else we could look forward to in a lot of ways. That sounds weird, but like events and things like that. Anyways, that was my second goal, is to kind of try and live in the moment and not get too focused on planning ahead. And then the last thing is really my goals for BookTube, which I'm really excited about. I'm still new to this, so I don't have any really major goals. I'm not trying to revamp my channel or anything like that. Really, I just want to work on like buddy reads and some of the challenges I have planned, and then have a lot of fun with this. I've been having a lot of fun with this. It does sometimes feel like all I'm doing is reading and doing videos. And so I don't want it to feel that all-consuming next year, but I also am having a really good time. So just accept that, right, Amy? And maybe get a little better at Instagram. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I will try though. So I just finished The Sleepwalker's Guide to Dancing by Mira Jacob, and I loved this. I would give it a 4.25. Maybe if I think about it a little more, I might rate it higher, but at the moment, the number that's coming to mind is 4.25. I really, really enjoyed this. I liked it from the beginning, but then there were definitely a few parts where it felt a little slower moving in sections, and I was like, man, this might be just too long. But then I hit a spot where I just was invested. I was in, and I had a really hard time putting this book down after that. And I mean, this is a long book, and I kind of feel like I zoomed through it. I really love the characters. As I said before, I'm really all about character dynamics and character development, and I felt like Mira Jacob did an amazing job with that. What I didn't realize is that this book's been 10 years in the making. It took her 10 years to perfect this book, and I think that shows. I think that her writing style is beautiful. I love that it was really heavily dialogue-based. I actually really got into that because I felt like you could get into the characters more and their interactions with each other. You're seeing the things that they're saying, but you're understanding what's behind those things. They like kind of like reading between the lines sort of thing, because there was a lot that wasn't actually said that was important for the story. This book talks very heavily about grief, and grief as a result of death and dying, and not just recent death and dying, but incidents and things that have happened in the past, and how that can tear a family apart, and then how they can try and rebuild and they can be torn apart again, and the struggles that come with not being able to heal and reconcile from things that have happened in the past. Definitely made me tear up a little bit. I wasn't sobbing or weeping. I just had a few like choked up moments. This is what I wanted swimming lessons to be. This was a similar concept. I mean, obviously different types of families and different issues, but similar in the sense that it was really talking about grief and family dynamics and some of the issues that surround that. And I just thought this did it for me. This just did it for me. I highly recommend it if you are into literary fiction, especially books about family dynamics, and you don't mind a book that is very heavily dialogue based, because that's what it is. We're almost there. And as you can tell, because today is the first day of January, I am going to continue this, which I felt like was appropriate after I was reminded that Advent actually goes through January 6th. So I really do want to get this done as soon as possible, because I have a ton of books I need to read in January, but I also want to finish this challenge. I put a lot of work into it. It's been so much fun. I've really, really been enjoying it, and I gotta figure out what I'm gonna read next. All right, so the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 Lords a-Leaping. I don't know how you rap that. I love ballet, so anybody leaping around for me is fantastic. For 10 in the 10 Lords a-Leaping, I will be reading The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. And this is a young adult fantasy, and it's about this girl named January. I don't know exactly how old she is. That wasn't really obvious in the synopsis. But she is the ward of a man named Mr. Locke, and he's an incredibly wealthy man. And in a way, she feels like he's just collected her. Like she's kind of in this giant house he owns and part of his antiques, his artifacts. Not really like she's there for any other reason, but just to be there. While she's in this house, she finds this book and she starts reading it. And it's this incredible book with different worlds and things she's never heard of. And yet there's something about it that seems like it might either change her life or be reflected in her life. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's the point. I'll find out, right? I do love books about books, so that is always a good option for me. And you know, it's young adults, so should go pretty quickly, right? It's not too long, a little over 300 pages. For Lords, we've got Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and this one is a young adult classic. I'm sure that most people have read this, but I actually haven't. This wasn't a requirement when I was going to school, and I've always been very curious about it because just never had the chance. It's definitely a good size. I like the size of this one. It's about this group of young boys that are in a plane and they crash. And when they crash, I don't know if there were any adults on the plane, but there are no surviving adults. And these boys are stuck on an island and they have to try and create a new society. And at first they're super excited about this concept of no adults on this island. Things probably change, right? Imagine things happen. So I'm really excited to read this. It's definitely a classic I would like to read. And I'm up for it now, so maybe Lord of the Flies. So last but not least is something that's a bit different than those two. It's actually a nonfiction self-help type book. This is The Big Leap, which is about success. And more than success, it's about how fear and certain beliefs we may be holding on to keep us from success, and I don't know if it's just success financially or just different types of success. I'm sure it's also success in different elements of our life. But this one sounds interesting, also a good size. I love nonfiction, and I could always use something in the beginning of 2021 that will help me overcome my fears and gain some form of success. I think this would be great too. I think all these would be great. Okay, it's time to find out. So, is it going to be young adult, or nonfiction? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, I'm excited about this. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. And it is only 182 pages. Yes, I'm gonna get through this guy fast. It was on my Goodreads TBR, so check. And it's a classic. It's a classic. I'm excited about this. I love classics, and I'm really, I'm never throwing things around. I'm obviously really excited because I'm throwing my book all over the place. So if you've read either the other two books or Lord of the Flies, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of them. I am excited about all of them. I don't think The Big Leap is on my TBR, but if you think it was a good one, let me know and I'll add it. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button now and subscribe so that you can see my 10th, 11th, and 12th day of Christmas. I'm going to finish this challenge soon. I'm really excited about this. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.